good afternoon, and welcome to Countdown to Daytona. I'm Dan Lucas.
And I'm Kevin Conley. Happy to have you with us this afternoon.
This is a ton of fun. This is a Daytona 500 Media Day. Leading up to the big race, of course, Sunday here at Daytona International Speedway. Behind us, you can see the Harley J. Earl Trophy, the black carpet. They call it the red carpet here, Kevin. Drivers lined up talking to the media. They don't get this at every race. They don't get this at a lot of races, so they love this kind of attention. It's like a Super Bowl media day here.
Yeah, without a doubt. And if you think about it, the Daytona 500 is NASCAR's biggest race. It is the one race that guys want to truly have on their resume as they move forward with their careers. And since it is the first race of the season, guys are anxious. They want to talk about the upcoming season and how their team is going to do.
Oh, they want to talk about it? Good. Lucky us, because guest number one is number one.
How's it going, guys?
A Daytona 500 champ in the house, Kurt Busch. How you doing, man? How's everything going?
How are you?
Great
to see you.
Yeah, just handling media day and getting to the race tomorrow, the qualifying race. That's the coolest part about the weekend, is just getting in the car and getting things prepped for the 500.
Let me ask you this, because you get the win a couple of years ago, and it was like one of these great comeback stories, and then you had a little hard luck in last year's race. But what's your mindset still off of that Daytona victory? That's got to carry you. I would have to imagine it carries you over months and months and maybe even years to keep things going.
I mean, to win the Daytona 500, it's like winning a championship, and it puts your name amongst the greats in our sport. And I literally carried the Harley J. Earl Trophy around with me for a good 6 months, and took pictures with it here, took pictures with it over there, and the notoriety and the power and the prestige of the Daytona 500 is something very special.
That's a big trophy. You probably had some people helping you carry that bad boy.
The case that it comes in is impressive, all on its own. It's in my garage, and the trophy's in the house. But to have had the chance to win this race, it fuels you to do it again, because you don't want others to enjoy the spoils that come along with this win.
Personally, I would check it, and I would check it as a bag. Play, just so I could get the big case off the belt at the airport. I remember one of the most vivid images of that win was the chunk of turf on your car, and they preserved it. Well, they left the turf on the car in the museum. They couldn't keep it alive. They tried to spray it. Where is that car right now, and where's that chunk of turf?
Yeah, Gene Haas has the car in the lobby at Stewart Haas Racing, and I don't know what they've done, but they have a chunk of AstroTurf or something. Most of it's green, and it's on the hood of the car. It's like a piece that made it into history. And it's actually part of our die-cast as well that celebrates that Daytona 500.
That's
so you have
awesome.
a Haas on the hood, and you got this green grass, this sod. So it's its own imagery.
NASCAR Media Day, you are bombarded with all kinds of questions. What is the most unique question you have received to this point today?
It was nuts. Like right when I sat down, AP and all the top riders were, "Where do you want the sport to go? What schedule? What's your favorite track that we're not racing at?"
That's a little too deep to start with.
It was deep to start, but you have to understand that we have the tracks with contracts and the TV partners, ISC merging with NASCAR, which they've already been the same company. You have Bruton Smith's tracks, and you don't want to upset anybody when you're talking. But there are so many cool tracks around the country that have good seating capacity that would be an absolute zoo if NASCAR Cup Series showed up, and that you can just start circling them on the map. Let's go.
All right, Kurt, we have a third member of our team here, JB Buono. We call him the DJ. He's spinning the hits.
What's up, Kurt Busch, everybody?
Over there.
All right, ready for our first off-road question?
Off-road.
We have a lot of questions that are just kind of, I don't know, a little more fun.
We call it Bahaing.
Look here at this screen. Your favorite movie or TV racer? Who do you like?
Man, my favorite's not up there.
Who is it?
Come on, man. Kenny Rogers in the movie Six Pack.
Oh, Six Pack, I love it.
Yeah.
The song itself
No,
was
not
awesome.
up there.
If I had to pick one, Tom Cruise, Days of Thunder.
Absolutely. Now,
Cold Trickle.
JB, is that Nicolas Cage? Is that from Gone in 60 Seconds? What is that from?
Yeah, Gone in 60. I guess that's a racer. I mean, he
Should've
raced at
put
the end of it.
Angelina Jolie.
Speed Racer.
Yeah.
His girlfriend's pretty hot.
Yeah, but the Gone in 60 Seconds, I'd like to get my hands on that Bullet Mustang.
Absolutely.
Eleanor.
I would like anything on the checklist. I would take that. All right, well, Kurt, this has been awesome stuff, man. I know you take a lot of time out to talk to everybody on Media Day, and it's a lot on you guys to stop what you're doing, but we really appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Best of luck to you you, man.
You got it.
You got a lot of top 5 here, buddy. Let's get another one.
Let's go get another win.
That's right. Good luck this week.
Appreciate it. Thanks
Kurt
for the
Busch
question.
joining us.
Thanks, man.
Starting our show off, Kevin, with a Daytona 500 champion. How cool is that?
Yeah, without a doubt. And Kurt Busch, we've kind of joked a little bit. He's younger than us, but he's one of the old guys in NASCAR. But he certainly still has a passion to win. Alex Bowman joining us now with Hendrick
How's it going?
Motorsports,
Front
car
row,
number
man.
88.
Good to see you. I guess you're just getting fist bumps.
I guess so. I'm a fist bump guy.
That's JB. We're calling. We have given him the title of DJ.
Okay.
So he's got all the equipment.
Yeah, I see that.
In the hits. Alex, man, thanks for taking a minute here.
Yeah, no problem.
It's funny. I was watching the qualifying on Sunday, and I'm thinking, okay, who's going to win the pole? But I had already penciled you in on row 1. It was just a matter of where you were going to be on row 1. I mean, what's the deal with these fast cars? You could just put together a lap like that.
Yeah, for sure. I think really all of that comes from Hendrick Motorsports. All the guys on the 88 team, they put a lot of effort into coming down here and qualifying well. It's 4 years in a row that they've been on the front row of the 500. 3 years in a row with me driving it. So just really special to be able to drive that race car. I've come down here not locked in. I've missed the race here. So to come down here with Hendrick Motorsports and be on the front row, it's 3 times in a row is really special. Hopefully we can finish a little better because we have not closed one out. We've led a lot of laps and ran up front a lot in the 500, but never been able to win one or finish very decent in one. So have a lot of work to do there, but our Valvoline Camaro has been really fast all week so far, and keep it clean tomorrow night in the duels and go from there.
All right, 200 laps, 500 miles. That's a long, long race. You're starting up front. Very challenging to stay up front. Where do you want to be in the closing laps? When is go time? Is it 4 laps to go, 5 laps to go? When is go time for you, and where do you want to be?
I feel like you're way too late at 4 or 5 laps to go as far as if you're not in the top 5-ish area. Really about 15, 20 to go, you're really going to see things ramp up. I feel like the Daytona 500 always seems it's such a long race. The Speedway cars have gotten harder and harder and harder to drive, and I feel like you see the race kind of single file out here and there, but the end of the race, 15 to go, it's really going to ramp up. You're going to want to be at the front of it. You're not going to want to be 15th and trying to figure out how to leapfrog that many cars. So top 3 on the last lap, I think is the place to be, and just having a shot at it is really all you can ask for. It's so easy to get caught up in somebody else's mess here.
Yeah.
So staying out of that is super key, and we've been able to do it. Or almost get it done. The last couple of years, it seems like the second to last wreck is the one that clears us out, and hopefully we can avoid that this year and be there at the end.
I don't know if you're a big data guy, but since you have started up front so many times, how much of the race can you dictate? I know it's only an early on portion of the race that you're truly going to dictate. Maybe it's the first stop. Maybe it's how the lines line up, what line you decide to take. But what have you learned over the years, the benefit of really being on that front row to help you overall?
Yeah, I think the biggest benefit, honestly, is your pit stall and just being able to have that first or second pit pick, because pit stall becomes such a big advantage here. And obviously, having clean in and outs and clean stops is really key. I don't really think one guy can really dictate the race anymore. I think for a while, guys were able to block both lanes and really control the race from the front. The runs are so big this year, and guys are just getting run over by trying to block them, and it ends up being big crashes like we saw in the Clash. So I don't think one guy's going to be able to really do that or stay up front that long. I feel like it's going to be more of a revolving door of moves that do and don't work through the front, but we'll just have to wait and see. I think the Clash, it's hard to use that as what the 500 is going to be. There's 22 more cars or whatever in the 500, so we'll just have to wait and see.
I think JB's looking at me.
Yeah, I think we have our next off-road question.
Oh man,
are you ready?
I don't know if I'm ready.
We're
or
going
not.
off-roading now.
We know what he's going to say about the race, right? We know what I want to win the Daytona 500. How about a question that's a little bit more off-road, right? Okay, here's your question, Mr. Alex Bowman. NASCAR implements a rule saying that the next race after the Daytona 500, you have to ride shotgun with a celebrity. Any celebrity.
I'm riding shotgun?
No, you're driving.
Who do you want shotgun?
Who do you want riding shotgun?
Oh, man. That's a tough one.
That's why it's off-road.
We're off the road.
Anybody.
We're deep
I'm just
off
going
the road.
celebrity crush, Jennifer Aniston.
Okay.
I wouldn't be sad if she had to sit next to me for
JB,
500 miles.
That's the correct answer, by the way.
How about
I don't think anybody would be sad about that. I really wouldn't be sad.
She just had a birthday, 51 years old.
51?
Jennifer Aniston.
Holy smokes.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Outstanding. Well, you flip on TV, see the Friends reruns, and you're like, yes, I want her to ride shotgun.
She doesn't age.
Is that your guys' celebrity shotgun too then?
You know what? I'm kind of, that's my category. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. I don't blame you. Listen, you got to be picking tunes. You're going to be talking.
We're going to be talking in the middle of the race?
Why not?
Okay.
Exactly.
All right, playing music.
Exactly. Playing music,
Yeah.
talking. Maybe she's talking about a trip she wants to take.
And you're trying to get in on the trip.
Yeah, possibly.
Okay.
You have time to make this happen.
Good to know.
There we go. You have it. Alex Bowman, celebrity shotgun, Jennifer Aniston. Hey, thanks so much for joining Countdown to
guys.
Daytona.
Alex,
Much
thank you, my
appreciated.
man.
Best of luck this
Thanks
weekend.
for having me. Y'all have a good one.
Run well tomorrow night, too, my friend.
Yes, sir.
Good stuff. Alex Bowman. Hey, we all would want to ride in a car with Jennifer Aniston, but I would be happy to ride alongside Alex Bowman, particularly in the one-lap qualifying. It is amazing. In recent years, it's not just Alex Bowman, but it's the Hendrick cars, and everyone talks about these Hendrick engines.
Right.
Even Ricky Stenhouse, who's not a Hendrick driver, he has a Hendrick
Right.
engine in the car. First thing he said the other day when he got out of the car, he goes, "Woo, these Hendrick engines, man. Something's in the water there."
Yeah, the thing about speedway racing, particularly at Daytona and Talladega, but at Daytona, you need friends. You need friends out there to make passes. And the thing is, when you have a fast car, you have a lot of friends. So I totally believe that Alex Bowman's going to have a lot of friends on Sunday during the Daytona 500 because his Hendrick car is very, very fast.
All right, getting more. Go ahead, suit up there.
Go ahead. You can
Look
put
at
him
it. There
on.
we go. There we go. This is
William Byron, driver of the number 24 car.
See
Hendrick
the way
Motorsports.
you put on that headset. I don't think you're a crew chief. Your career as a crew chief, you got a little work ahead of you.
Yeah, not anytime soon. Plus, my limited knowledge of strategy and the race car, I think
Exactly.
would probably
have you ever?
go very well.
Well, speaking of that, I mean, when we get to hear the race radio during the broadcasts, and you look up there. Here, it's easy to see all the spotters, at least on this side. There's a lot of chatter going on, man. Are you a leave me alone kind of guy? Talk to me when you have to, or do you want to hear stuff? Are you a data guy? What do you like when it comes to the chatter?
I feel like medium chatter's good. You got to have important information from a spotter and crew chief to be successful. So I think quick split decisions in terms of clearing you or getting you into somewhere that you can go and kind of make a move and make progress is really important. So for me, it's all about important, quick information, and that's what makes a difference.
You want quick phrases, not sentences.
Yeah.
The more which way to go.
The more you drown out what you say, the harder it is to interpret. As a driver, you every millisecond and really second on the racetrack is very critical to your decision making, and you got to have the same from your spotter and your crew chief.
You're a young guy in this sport. How was the experience from last year? How is that going to help you in 2020 moving forward? I
think it's going to be great. We finished 11th in the points last year. I thought it was a good, solid year in terms of production from us, and I think we left the season looking for more from each of us. So I'm excited about that. I think Chad's got some good things that are kind of implemented within our team. If everyone can get this that little bit better, I think we're going to be in a good position.
Hendrick, you're part of a team in transition, and it's been neat to see the new influx of talent. And it's going to be sad to bid farewell to a Jimmie Johnson here at the Daytona 500. But where is the team in that sense of when you guys started to come in, you're driving these cars with famous numbers. And so you got two generations of fans who are attached to a car or a particular driver. Where are you in this grand scheme of Hendrick and maintaining what it has built over the years with the older guys?
Well, I think you have to realize that Jimmie's been there for a long time, and he's done a lot of great things, and he's still has contributed a lot to our success as young guys because of his role as a mentor and kind of guidance for our race team. So I think that you're going to see definitely a new age. You've kind of already seen that with us coming in. And it's just for us, it's all about on-track performance and trying to do well there. And obviously have great supporters and, Exalta and Chase has Napa and all of us really have great supporters around us. So I'm looking forward to what's ahead.
Very good. William, thank you very much. We appreciate the time.
Best
of luck tomorrow night in the qualifying race and, of course, on Sunday in the Daytona 500.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Thank you, William Byron. Good stuff. And he's right. Jimmie Johnson has been there for a long time. And it's not only a tough standard to live up to, but you're trying to make your own legacy as well. And
not only the face of a team, but the face of the sport for many, many years.
Absolutely. Look what we found. Martin Truex is here.
How's it going?
Hey, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. And yourself?
Oh, not too bad. Not too bad. Well, you guys don't get this kind of treatment every race, media day. So what?
Yeah. Thank God.
What makes this different and maybe an enjoyable experience the whole encompassing week of Daytona and resulting in the Daytona 500? Why is it so fun for you?
Well, it's like the first week of school, when you're a kid and you went and got new clothes and sneakers and all that stuff and you wanted to go show them off to all your buddies. I mean, it's kind of the same feeling. It's exciting time of the year to kick off the season, but to be here at Daytona for the 500, I mean, it's a huge week. It's a huge race, a huge part of our sport. And it's a big one, so everybody's excited to be here and looking forward for a chance to win in it.
I know you've gotten this question a whole lot. Cole Pern decided to step away, your longtime crew chief, longtime really, really close friend.
Yeah.
How different is it to hear another voice in your head as you're out there on the track?
It's definitely a little bit different, especially because James is Australian. But, I went from a Canadian to an Australian. So
Wait a minute, they drive on the other side of the road.
I think they do, and their toilets flush backwards and everything else. But, it's been good so far. I feel like James is, he's been a big part of our success the last couple seasons. He's been a big part of the reason why we've been successful. So I think he brings a lot to the table. I have a lot of confidence in him, and I feel like we're just going to kind of pick up where we left off. I feel that way, and I hope that's the case. But he's fired up and excited and ready for this opportunity, and I'm looking forward to having success with him.
It seemed like a perfect fit for you to come into a team that's obviously loaded to run a good race at any time, but is also can sustain and win a championship. I mean, it's on your resume. So how great is this team setting for you? And I would have to imagine the internal team competition, as much as you try to help each other, there's got to be some side bets we don't know about.
Well, it's tough. It's really tough. I mean, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch, Eric Jones, three guys that are all really good, great teams. But I feel like part of the success that we've had is because we all push each other. We none of us are happy unless we're winning, and we all can't win, but we always push each other. And you look at last year, 19 wins as a group. I mean, just incredible. I feel like we could have won more races. So this year, that's the goal, is to try to win more. And it's just neat to have that camaraderie inside of our team. We all get along. We have very constructive meetings during the week. We all help each other, whether it's crew chiefs, drivers, engineers, you name it. And we work together really, really well. And that's because of Coach and the way he leads and the way he leads by example. So it's been amazing to be a part of that team, honestly. And I knew it was going to be good when I went there, a little over a year ago. But I didn't know it would be as good as it is. It's amazing to work there, and I love it.
Coach Gibbs, he's quite the peacemaker when he has to be, isn't it?
He is good at putting out fires. No question.
What's the best thing that you were able to do this off season? I know you guys, racing is 24/7, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
What was the best thing that you got to do this off season?
Honestly, I probably had more time off this off season than I ever have. So it was really great. I did a lot of fishing. Spent a lot of time in Florida. So that was nice. It's just, it's honestly, the season's such a grind. It's so long. You're always doing something.
Yeah.
7 days a week, it seems like. And it's just nice to have some time off. So we spent a lot of time with family and, did some fishing and just really a lot of relaxing. It was quite nice.
I'm told awesome. You are the master of being off the grid.
I'm pretty good at it.
Hey, we'll get back to you on Martin, and if days go by, like, where is he?
Yeah.
He's fishing.
Yeah, I have no problem getting off the grid, no question.
That's awesome. Martin, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
We really appreciate it. Best of luck not only tomorrow night in the
thank you guys.
qualifying race, but Sunday in the Daytona 500.
Thanks, y'all. Have a good day.
All right, Martin Truex, driver of the number 19 car for Joe Gibbs Racing.
I'm a big fan of Martin Truex, to be honest with you. And part of it is how much I love the Daytona 500. He's had close calls here.
Yes.
He was in the closest finish ever here with the Daytona 500.
Yes.
Didn't win it. Little did he know that one day that Hamlin's going to be his buddy.
Right.
But I'll tell you what we need to ask one of these Joe Gibbs guys. Remind me, last year's finish, because you had Kyle Busch. He's pushing Hamlin, but he was kind of protecting him at the same time.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
And in the end, I thought he really wanted to win.
Yes,
But
there's no doubt.
where there were the internal discussions and what was the final decision
Right.
of, you know what, this is the car we have that they can win it. This is the decision. Now, of course, this discussion took place in a span of about 3 seconds.
That's right.
So,
well, if you look at Kyle Busch and his resume, the only thing that Kyle Busch does not have on his unbelievable resume is a Daytona 500 victory.
Yeah.
So he certainly really wanted that one. Joining us now is Kevin Harvick, driver of the number 4 car.
that's a post-golf course tan.
Oh.
He's got right there.
Did you tee it up today?
Oh, no. I haven't been to the golf course since September.
Uh-oh.
Oh, wait, whoa.
We got
an
change
injury?
that.
What do you got?
We
What's
gotta
going on
change
here?
that.
No, I have 2 kids and a lot to do at home. So between them and my job, it's hard to find time to go play golf.
The first thing that happens. The golf game goes.
Yeah.
That's got to prioritize. That's for sure.
Exactly.
Kevin, congratulations. A new contract that is going to keep you in the 4 car at Stewart-Haas Racing for several more years. Why has your connection with that team been so successful?
Yeah, I think a lot of people, there's so many people that put careers with, numbers. As I say numbers, I mean age. And, for me, it just really hasn't been that way. Physically, I've been able to, keep up with things and are in a good spot from that particular standpoint. So that age number has really been irrelevant for me. I don't need to run fast. I couldn't run fast when I was 25, let alone 44. So I can't run fast, I can't throw hard, and I can't jump high. But
you can drive
a car,
yeah.
and there is an experience factor that goes along with that. But for me, it's really is about that team. It really is about the guys that work on the race car. This deal is no different than any other business. It's all about people, and you work your whole career. Man, I wish I had this crew chief, or I wish I had that tire changer, or I wish I had that manufacturer, or whatever the case may be. And now you've got all those things, and it'd be crazy to give that up. With everything still intact. So, I think the answer to your question is I think that the pairing with myself and Tony Stewart and Gene Haas first, they're racers and really let us kind of do our thing and give you a lot of leeway and lean heavily towards the drivers, I guess, opinions and things that go along with the driver as to what we think, as to how they direct the company. And I think add into that the relationship with Rodney Childers. And when we started at Stewart-Haas Racing, it wasn't like other teams. You can have this car and you can build 4 new cars and you can get this old trailer and we'll re-decal it. It was, we don't have anything, so you guys just build the team how you want it. And really from the beginning, we bought a new truck and trailer. We built every race car brand new, how Rodney wanted them to be built. And that has really paid off for us from day one, because it's been built how he wanted to have things built. And the progression of that has led into what has happened the last 6 years.
As a veteran driver, we had the young guns a few years back, and it's getting even younger now.
That story died.
Yeah,
all the old guys still win.
The old guys, still win. There's a certain level of, like you said, experience, especially on a track like this, where there's certain, and I don't want you to feel like you have to name people that are better at it than not, but when there's less experience, do you kind of recognize where you are and say, you know what, let's move around this or stay away from that, because you've done this so many times and you know what it takes to just get to this finish line?
Yeah, I think the first thing I probably would tell you is our sport's harder than it ever has been in order to break through for a young guy, and the younger that they get, the less experience that they have, and it's harder to come by. When I came up through the ranks, you could go test at every racetrack. You had telemetry and things that you could see from the other teammates, at that particular test. And before you even got to the race, you kind of had everything worked out. Now you have to go to a simulator. You don't really go test anymore, and so for these guys to come up and learn is very difficult. And they do a lot of time in the simulator, but there's nothing like real life racetrack stuff, to get that experience. So the other piece to that is the Xfinity Series isn't as deep as it used to be, and I think that transition from the Xfinity Series to the Cup Series just takes longer. I mean, you're seeing Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney, a lot of these guys. It has taken them 2, 3, 4 years in order to get their feet on the ground to be consistent in the top 10 and winning races. So it's just it's a much more difficult environment, for the young guys to come up through because of the lack of on-track time.
Interesting.
All right, well, Kevin, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
No
Best
problem.
of luck in the qualifying races.
Thank you, guys.
Of course,
Daytona
in the
500 champion.
Great to see you.
That's quite an honor to say. These guys all say that if you get the win, Daytona 500 champ.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
Without a doubt. And Kevin
Exactly.
Harvick he's a character, and he is certainly very, very successful. Has been for a long time.
Oh, so we're keeping the train moving, man. What's going on?
How are you guys?
Doing well. Well, so how's your week been so far? And how's everything going? In the preparation. You got tomorrow night. This is different, not just because of the media and all the influx of people that are here, but now you got to go through all these steps just to get to Sunday.
Yeah, I would say the schedule is probably the biggest difference for me coming from the Truck Series and the Xfinity Series, having everything spread out from practicing Saturday to qualifying Sunday and then waiting 4 days to go and actually run a race to be able to get your official starting spot for the Daytona 500 is something new to me. So being able to kind of be a part of all this and take it in as my first full Cup year and full Cup experience is something special.
Kevin, there aren't many guys, by the way, who have this. They were literally born into race cars.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you didn't have much of a choice with your dad, John.
How much influence does your dad have, or has your dad had, on your career, and how much backseat driving does he do after races?
He doesn't do too much anymore, which is pretty good. But when I first started out, he was always trying to point things out. And for myself, as a teenager growing up underneath him, as a teenager, you don't want to listen, right?
Right.
I think every parent and kid kind of goes through that, but mine was a little bit different. But being able to be at the racetrack for the first time when I was 2 weeks old and kind of grow up underneath him, I always knew that I wanted to race, whether it was stock cars or dirt bikes. I didn't know. I raced all of it as a kid, and then finally decided I wanted to get back in a stock car where it was a little bit safer, and my career kind of took off from there. So being able to kind of be underneath Dad and all the sacrifices that he's made from our family-owned team, being able to run in the Truck Series and then move off of the Truck Series and our family team to the Xfinity Series, now the Cup Series. It's pretty cool to have him as a dad. And I think I've been here almost every year for the Daytona 500 that he's run. So for him to be here this weekend and kind of roles reverse as his son driving and him being a dad rather than the dad driving and his son being there supporting is pretty special.
So, John Hunter, how much experience can you draw from the Truck Series, from the Xfinity Series? We hear so many drivers say that these Cup cars are so much more difficult to drive than the Xfinity cars and the trucks. So where do you pull that experience from to be successful?
Being able to lean on veterans, I think, is the biggest key for me, being able to lean on Dad and a few different drivers that have been pretty successful in the Cup Series, being able to ask questions and kind of gain as much knowledge as you can. I have a teammate this year, but two teammates from last year that I can really lean on and ask questions that have been a part of this sport for a long time. So being able to kind of be a part of that is something special for me, and being able to know that those guys are actually going to say correct things rather than lie to you about certain situations. But they're definitely harder to drive. I mean, anytime that you're running a truck or an Xfinity car and you're running laps, you're learning something.
Right.
And being able to race against Kyle Busch and some of the veterans of the sport in those series, all the way from late models up to the Xfinity Series, you learn a lot from those guys. So I know some people don't like them being in the Friday and Saturday shows, but as a driver, you learn so much from them, and that can carry on over into the Cup Series.
Well, I know John Hunter NEMECHEK has done plenty plenty of off-roading in his
Yes.
day, Kevin. So, JB, we have this, we're called this off-roading right now with
Off-road
JB.
questions.
So now you're off-roading.
Just a little
let's do it.
different.
This is out of my hands. I can't speak for that.
No, this one we're gonna. We have a younger driver here with us, so we'll give you a little bit of an easier off-road question. You ready for it, John Hunter? Here we
Just
go.
take a look at that monitor right there.
Yeah, here we go. So here's the situation. You're under caution, and you can have any meal in the world brought to you.
Oh, wow.
What is it?
Ooh, any meal under caution.
Don't go healthy on me.
Yeah,
Please.
I'm going to go healthy on you.
You've already been in the car for 4 hours. It's 120 degrees.
You've been
Come
passing at checkers
yeah,
every
I mean, at that point, if you're in the car for 4 hours, you don't want to eat if you're that hot. So I'm going to say some type of protein bar, some hydration, or some essential water. I don't know. I eat pretty clean and pretty healthy. So at that point in the race, if we're going to document it 4 hours into the race, probably I'm not eating anything just because you're that hot and you really don't want to feel really bad when you get there.
I give you a milkshake. I mean, the guy can have a milkshake or
Yeah,
something at least.
I mean,
Yeah,
something
hot dog.
cold to drink, right?
Exactly.
That's
All right,
awesome.
well, John Hunter, NEMECHEK. Thank you very much
Appreciate
for your
it.
time. I mean, best of luck running tomorrow night,
Thank
this
you.
weekend.
Appreciate it.
Have a good one. I love it. Born in this sport.
That's right.
His dad, it's old school, man.
That's true.
It's old school racing.
Front row Joe.
Front row Joe.
From front row Joe to
front row man.
Ricky Stenhouse.
Ricky Stenhouse.
Congratulations.
Thanks
How
for
are y'all?
joining us today, my man.
Yeah, not a problem. Thanks for having
Brad,
me.
this is great. First thing you said when you climbed out of the car Sunday, you said, these engines, man, this is crazy. You get on the track, you start your lap, and the only person who can ruin it is you. What kind of pressure is that when you've got all these guys in the crew, in the shop, invested in this?
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't really get nervous for qualifying runs, but when we had speed in practice on Saturday, it's like, okay, we have a shot at the Daytona 500 pole if we do everything correct. And so, it's like, hey, don't spin the tires too much. Make sure you hit your shifts and, run high enough on the racetrack to get your speed built up, but not too close to the wall where it's kind of dragging you down. And then, then when you're running around the yellow line, it's like, okay, get close to it, but don't hit the apron, and you're just trying not to scrub speed, knowing that, your guys worked really hard. And it was pretty cool to win.
Starting up front is one thing. Staying there is something completely different.
Well, you can't stay there all race. I've Talladega, we qualified on the pole, and we ended up winning from the pole, and I went back and forth in that race so many times, and that's just part of speedway racing, and that's why the fans love it. That's why they get excited about it, and that's also kind of what frustrates us race car drivers about it. It's like knowing you have the fastest car by itself, but when you go and you're drafting, all that changes, and you lose some of that ability to just kind of control the race like you would on the following week at Las Vegas. If you had the fastest car, you're going to kind of control the whole race and keep your track position and all those things. So it's frustrating, but that's what makes speedway racing fun.
But I asked Alex, and I'll ask you the same question because you front row guys, can you dictate things or at least make decisions based upon that great start position, especially out here where maybe, I don't know, a third of the race may be in your control?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the start of the race, we're both on the front row, and we get to, kind of lead our respective lines and, move up and down and make moves to try and keep everybody behind you. But, once you fall into the clutches of a three-wide position and you end up kind of shuffled back, then you got to do whatever you can do to get yourself back in that position and kind of reset. And, for us, getting the front row, obviously we get a really good pit stall selection. And so, our pit box leaving pit road, we're going to have an advantage. And so those are the things that you look for when you qualify first is all those little advantages that you can have throughout the race.
JB, is our third member here.
Yeah.
On our crew, and we've had a little segment, a little fun. We're calling them off-road
and we know you off-road, so that's why you're things for off-road here.
So this is not
actually
a straight
off-roaded.
NASCAR question.
I actually off-roaded in qualifying.
Did you?
I'm glad.
Perfect.
I'm glad.
Perfect.
I'm glad nobody saw it, but I was coming in, and I was down the back straightaway. I was on the apron, and I was doing something. I was kind of like looking around, and all of a sudden I look up, and the whole left side of my car's in the grass.
Wow. Well, then, perfect segue to our off-road question for Ricky Stenhouse Jr., everybody. And this one is pre-race voodoo. Ricky, let's get weird for a second. Do you have a ritual, a superstition, anything you do before a race to give yourself a little bit of that good luck?
No, I don't. Here's why. I used to have kind of a routine that, I would eat the same stuff. When I get in the car, I'd put my gloves on the same way. I'd put my seatbelts on. I had this kind of set routine. It's this is what I have to do to make sure I have a good day.
Yeah.
And then I got to thinking, if I mess that up one day, then
you got some bad juju.
Yeah. So I was like, screw that. I'm not going to have any rituals, nothing. So I don't have anything.
All right, how about this then? Let's throw a different off-road question your way. Give us your favorite movie or TV show racer. See them here on your screen?
There's
right
10 or 11 pictures.
Cole Trickle is.
Ooh, Cole Trickle is
didn't even
popular
hesitate.
today.
Yeah. Didn't even hesitate.
Why Cole Trickle?
Cal Naughton would be pretty cool, too.
Why Cole Trickle, though? Tom Cruise.
No, Cole Trickle. I mean, he raced sprint cars.
Boom.
That's true. You got to go deep into the Days of Thunder to realize that's where the background started with Cole Trickle.
I love it. Is that Jason Statham on there?
Yeah.
JV?
Yeah. Hey, Death Race is a very popular blockbuster.
Death Race is,
people love that movie.
I was originally going Nicolas Cage Gone in 60 Seconds, but I might be Death Race now.
Yeah,
that's great.
Death Race is an intense
Excellent.
movie.
All right,
That's
listen,
awesome.
Ricky
Ricky, thank
Stenhouse
you.
Jr., my man. Thank you
y'all.
so much.
Appreciate it.
Congratulations on the run
Thank
the other
you.
day. Good luck tomorrow night and Sunday as well.
Appreciate it.
Good deal. Thanks, man.
All right. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., what a run he made Sunday.
Yeah,
I love it.
The 47 car will certainly be one to keep an eye on Sunday in
good
the Daytona
story
500.
for sure. And a lot of good stories.
Christopher Bell in the hot seat right now. First of all, congratulations, on getting the opportunity to move up to the Cup Series this year. Give me the goals. Give me the realistic goals that you have for this season in your team and your career.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I think nobody really knows exactly what to expect because I've never run a Cup race in my life. But
that's a good place to start.
Yeah, you look at all the other rookie contenders, and all of them have made Cup starts at least once before. So I'm at a little bit of disadvantage there, but I think we have all the tools we need to have a great rookie campaign, and I think we'll get more of a understanding of how it's going to go once we get a couple weeks into the season here. And I mean, ultimately, if we can compete with our JGR teammates, then that's our number one goal week in and week out. And our JGR teammates are going to be competing for wins, so that's setting the bar pretty high. But I think we have all the tools to do it. It's just a matter of getting me acclimated to Cup racing.
When you're out here, you're not the first Truck Series champion to move up and make the jump, but what can you gather from that experience, especially on a track like this? I don't know if the racing that you think it's going to be similar, or if if the speed makes that much of a difference for decision making. But based on your experience in that series, what do you bring here?
So what's interesting is I think the trucks will actually drive pretty similar to what the Cup cars do.
Okay.
The Xfinity cars the last 2 years have had really small spoilers and really small motors for the Speedway package, so I don't think that relates as much. But the truck racing, they have the big windshields, big spoilers on the back, and then they have decent horsepower too. So I think that'll relate more than what I've been doing in the Xfinity series. And from the practice sessions that I've just ran, man, it's been pretty cool because the Cup cars, they have really big runs. They have huge draft runs because the spoilers are so tall. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun come tomorrow night in the duels. And I'm excited to get out there and get under racing conditions because, we get out there and practice, and we practice with our JGR teammates, and it was only a 5 or 6 car draft. So there hasn't been a 40-car pack yet, so I'm excited to see what that's about.
There's a lot of very strong Rookie of the Year contenders. With the other rookies, is that a rivalry, or do you talk with them as friends, and kind of go against the other veteran drivers? Do the rookies kind of stick together a little bit, or is there a rivalry there?
I guess I can only speak for myself, but I do believe that I support my other rookies, and until I compete against them. But, if I'm back here in 20th or 30th, and the other guy's running 5th or 6th, I'm like, yeah, come on, man, go get it. But next thing you know, whenever I'm 7th and he's 6th, I'm like, get back there.
You're out of there.
So I think at the moment we're probably going to be cheering for each other just because it's all so new. But then once we get submerged into it, it's going to be getting after each other and trying to beat each other.
Oh, Christopher Bell, thank you very much for joining us. Best of luck in the duels, and
good luck,
and this weekend as well. And this is a great experience, man. I know you've been around here enough in this track to know what's going on, but it's definitely going to be a fun experience for you.
Thank you, guys.
Awesome,
right.
Appreciate it,
I love
it. Boy.
I don't know if we call him the young gun thing is over.
Yeah, it definitely
like
is.
Kevin
But boy,
said.
I
don't know what he is.
He's a talent.
The baby young guns.
Yeah.
I don't know what they are.
Yeah, no, that's very good.
Getting younger and younger. Speaking of young, good drivers and taking steps in his career, and Mr. Chase Elliott joins us here.
How are you?
Former front row here at Daytona. I mean, when you come here, everybody says kind of the same thing, but it hits you in your own way. When you pull up through that tunnel and you take a look and maybe some memories come to mind. What do you think when you come here this time of year?
I think I've not finished many of these things more than anything. So, yeah, enjoy coming. I still get excited coming here in February, and I'm thankful for that. I feel like having that fire and the desire of something genuinely getting you excited is really important, and what you do in life. So I'm lucky that I still have that. Hopefully I can have it for a long time, and yeah, just trying to be smart, and try to finish this thing on Sunday will be good.
All right, you've mentioned twice in that short answer there that you haven't finished many of these Daytona 500s.
Yep.
If the Busch Clash is any indication of what we will see on Sunday,
it is.
It's going to be hard to finish one of these things. How do you stay out of trouble on Sunday?
I don't know. I really don't know.
No one seems to ever have it figured out.
If somebody had it figured out, then we would, they would probably do it and win a lot. But it's just hard, I feel like there's things you can do to probably be smarter and put yourself in a better situation. But none of the situations are great. So it's like kind of the lesser of two evils, I feel like. So, and I don't know which one's less is the problem. So, and I don't know that anybody does. So, you try to be conservative and make it to the end, but there comes a point in time where you got to be aggressive if you want to move forward. And, everybody down here, I've learned over my first 4 years doing this stuff, like, you come and if you make a move on somebody, he's going to point the finger at you, but he'd do the same thing to you. He's just mad because he got the bad end of it. So, it's just part of it. I don't know what you do. It's we're racing really close together. The rules are the rules, and there's really nothing we can do about it. So we'll just keep rolling with it.
Your spotters, I mean, you obviously are doing what you're told from them, but have you relied less over the years as you now have gotten enough experience out here at the Cup level that maybe you know when there's a calculated risk that's worth taking, or do you wait until you're told what they see?
No, I don't think you can wait. I mean, I think any close call on anything, no matter where you are, what kind of track you're on, I think you have to make those yourself. And you have to understand you're taking that risk. You're not, and you certainly aren't going to get out and blame him for saying something that he's a mile and a half away from, and he's going to call something within 4 or 5 inches is not fair. So the only people that can make those close calls are the guys driving the cars, in my opinion. And, that's how I've always viewed that. But I do think your spotter is very crucial. He gives you great information. At least mine does. And our relationship has grown over the years to understand what I want to hear and what I don't want to hear. We don't talk a lot on the radio, but we get what we need to get and get on with it.
We have a little segment here. We call it off-roading. So
off-road questions.
Off-road, Chase.
You're
off-roading now.
Question.
Okay.
So we're going off-roading. Take a look at the monitor there.
How
JB,
about
our third member of the team.
Let's for Chase Elliott here. Let's go back to some voodoo, pre-race voodoo. Chase, do you have any pre-race rituals, routines, anything weird that you do for a little bit of that competitive advantage / good luck, maybe especially ahead of the Daytona 500?
Yeah, I can't say I do. I've never been much of a voodoo person. I think we all have a routine on Sundays.
No weird underwear or anything strange like
no
that?
monkey
Nothing?
pennies.
That was your
Nothing?
chance, by the way, to sell a line of boxers or something. You just blew it.
I don't. I'm sorry.
Well, if you think of anything, we're here. Countdown to Daytona. Pre-race voodoo, everybody. An off-road question for Mr. Chase Elliott. How about this? How about it real quick? Your favorite TV or TV show racer here on the screen.
Lean forward, Chase. Take a look.
Well,
TV
because we do have to
TV.
get the next driver in here, but you have a favorite?
Dang, you guys have not got very. Well, if Stroker Ace was up there, I'd pick it, but y'all left that one out.
That is one.
We
That
had
is one missing.
six-pack too mentioned.
Six-pack.
Six-pack was good. Yeah.
Oh,
So
very
we
good.
blew it. We blew it. We blew it on the underwear ads and also the favorite racer,
It
Chase
happens.
Elliott.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
Appreciate
you very
it.
much for
Thank
your
you.
time today, my man.
And obviously Napa has just signed a contract
Yes.
extension to stay with Chase Elliott for a few more years. So he's set at Hendrick Motorsports for a long, long time.
All right.
And with Jimmie Johnson retiring after the end of this year, Chase Elliott will be the longest tenured driver at Hendrick Motorsports, which is really kind of hard to believe. Yeah, think about it. Alex Bowman.
I'm trying
William
to do the
Byron.
math in my head here.
Yeah. So. It is. Michael McDowell
Hi,
joining
how are
us
you guys?
now. Michael, great to see you.
How you doing today, man?
I'm doing great.
I overheard a conversation. You were a little bit late getting in there. There was some fog, weather holding you up. I know you were so excited to get to media day.
Yeah, I actually, so two parts. Yes, we were fogged in. We had to, we circled around for about an hour, and the fog didn't lift, and so we ended up landing in Orlando and then driving here.
Oh,
so,
just like everybody else.
Yeah, so we were a little bit late, which creates a lot of anxiety for me because no matter what it is, I really don't want to be late, But
I got you.
On the flip side of that, I do get excited for media day. This is my 13th year, but I enjoy it. I like it, and I think the reason I like it is I have a job. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I get to race in the Daytona 500, right? And this is all part of it, but it's a reminder. This is what kicks off the season, and it's a good reminder of hey, when I'm not here, that's going to suck.
Yeah.
That's not a good day,
That's a great point.
Yeah, I enjoy it.
What's the most unusual question you have fielded today as part of Media Day?
They've all been pretty standard, actually. I haven't had a real...
We got to work on that, then.
Yeah, I haven't had a real awkward one.
Don't worry, we'll take care of the weird questions for you. We got that covered. Yeah.
I enjoy having to do a little bit of thinking, but today's been pretty smooth, and it's been easy so far.
Let's talk a little bit about your team. It has really been a slow, steady building process for Front Row, and they're a success story.
Yeah,
they
sure.
started out small, and what's it like to be a part of that and a part of that growing process?
Yeah, it's really enjoyable and rewarding. Bob Jenkins is a great man, a great leader, and has really, like you said, just slowly, methodically built this program and this organization. And just like he is, and we all get impatient, right? You want instant results, but the reality is that we're going up against some really great teams and organizations that are developing and getting better themselves. And so you're always just that little bit behind, but we've slowly closed the gap just little by little by little by little. And like you said, we've made some steady progress and some gains over the last, really the last 10 years. So it hasn't had one of those seasons where we were retracted, but it's just not at the rate that we all hope for. But, last year was a great season for us with top fives, top tens, qualifying well, showing speed, but we just need a little bit more execution. And so hopefully this year we can put it all together more consistently and put ourselves in that position.
Is this the race or the kind of race that part of the battle? Obviously, everyone says they got to get to the finish line, and we all know what everybody means. But maybe being in a position to take advantage of when there are incidents, and you can make sure you're in a position to stay semi-safe and clear or have options to maybe put yourself in a position for a top five or a win here.
Yeah, for sure. And everybody has a different strategy, right? There's some guys that will ride around in the back and wait till the end, and there's other guys that, race their guts out the entire time and get caught up in something. And I've always found for me it's just better just to race and just, it's very circumstantial where you're at, but I've found the best luck is just to be in the top 10 and try to be there all day long. And for me, it's not so much about, hey, let's just come out of here with a good finish. It's come out of here with a win. I mean, that's what we want to do. That's what we're trying to do. And Top 5s and top 10s are great, and that's awesome. But this is the shot. This is our opportunity to win a race. And so I think you actually go on the other side. You try to be a little bit more aggressive. So, if you're 10th on the last lap, you're going to get a top 10, and that's great. You're not going to win the race.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be sitting in the top 3 to win the race. And so in order to do that, you got to put yourself in position earlier. And so we're going to fight hard and hopefully get the Love's Travel Stop in victory lane.
Very good. Michael, thank you very much. We really do appreciate
it,
that.
guys.
Best of luck to you tomorrow night.
And if you look at the history of Front Row Motorsports, their Super Speedway program really is their best opportunity to score a victory.
Agreed. It's fun seeing we like young drivers, but we also like young teams.
Yeah.
Teams coming in and challenging the big boys.
Yeah,
and,
without a doubt.
And seeing what
Makes
they
for
can
great
do
storylines
on this level. Speaking of a guy who's paid his dues, climbed, he's been at the highest. He's won here at this track before, and he'll tell you, he's the first one to tell you, haven't won in February yet. Here's Aric Almirola. Right. Here you are, man. I know a couple years ago you were there on the final lap. It's unfortunate. That said, you have to run almost perfect to be lucky here at Daytona.
Yeah.
What does it take to get to the finish line and get there first?
You got to have a great team. You got to have a fast race car. You got to execute perfectly all day. You got to have luck. I've done a lot. The first 3 things I've had a couple of times here in February. Haven't had the luck. I think if you just keep putting yourself in position, that's all you can do. And that's what I just keep telling myself is just be there. Be there, be in contention, be in position. And if the good Lord's willing, then it'll happen that day. But, I like you said, I've won here in July in a Cup car. I've won here in July in an Xfinity car. I've led laps and been so close to winning the Daytona 500, but just haven't gotten it done.
All right, you mentioned luck, and that's going to lead right into our off-roading question. This is a little bit of a different question.
All right.
Okay?
Yeah, you want to go to Voodoo?
Yeah, let's go to Voodoo.
Okay.
On that.
Voodoo him.
Do you
Give him a voodoo doll.
Do you have any superstition that you have to have on race day to feel comfortable in the car?
None.
Really?
Wow, that's the
Nothing.
third driver today that we.
Nobody's superstitious in this
No.
sport. What's
I thought
wrong
all
with these
professional
people?
athletes
Or they're
had a
just
little
not,
superstition.
or they're just not giving it away. Eric's got some secrets.
No, I'll tell you why. Because I used to be superstitious.
Okay, well, what was the biggest thing that you were superstitious about?
So when I was a kid, I was very, very superstitious when I was racing go-karts, and I was very superstitious about the boxers that I wore. My mom always had to make sure these one specific boxers were always clean, and I wore the same, fire suit and everything, and that was always the same. But the boxers, they always had to be this one pair of boxers.
We got one. Underwear. We knew that it was going to be somebody.
Chase Elliott blew it. He didn't say anything about underwear.
But I found out, like, as I got older, is like, you know what? I've wore those underwear before, and I've won. I've won those underwear before, and I've wrecked. Like, it's not the underwear. Like, it's not their fault.
Oh,
like,
you figured it out. That's the problem.
And so, like, I don't believe in all that stuff. I believe that hard work, preparation, all those things are what matter. And then at the end of the day, if the good Lord's willing, then it's going to happen. And if it's not, then, you got to wait. And so for me, I've just kind of lived by that over the last probably decade plus of I don't put my faith in a lot of rituals and things and superstitions and all that. I try to rely on preparation and making sure that I do my part, and then after that you hope that things go your way.
I think that there's some room there on that suit for Hanes or Fruit of the Loom. Fruit of the Loom, if you're watching, Aric Almirola.
I'll guarantee you now, if you get here Sunday and you lift that trophy, you're going to lean over and go, get these underwear to the cleaners.
Yeah. make sure they're in Vegas.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right, Aric Almirola, thank you so much, my man.
Thanks, guys.
Been close here in the Daytona 500.
Thank you, guys.
I think he's one of the, when you list the short list of guys that know how to win here and can do it, you have to, getting here in Daytona and winning, you got to know what you're doing. Eric's one of them.
Yeah, without a doubt. And the thing about Aric, too. That's right. The thing about Aric, too.
Thanks, Aric. Appreciate it.
He does it the right way, too.
Absolutely.
And he
agreed.
He's got such a good fan base. He's got such a good team behind him. A few years ago, last fall, we actually had an opportunity to do a podcast with Aric, and he was fabulous. He really was. And one of the biggest influences in his life and his racing career was his grandfather, and he absolutely adored his grandfather.
Great story, by the way. The family, he coming from Cuba.
Yes.
And relocating the family, and raising, being raised the right way. Didn't have much.
Yeah, he's a big Florida guy.
He's a humble guy.
Loves living in Florida.
He's another one of those truck guys. Guy ran well in the truck series.
Yes.
The guy's paid his dues. He didn't just land in a cup car.
Obviously we have a little bit of a lull in the action right now, but several of the drivers we had an opportunity to speak to with earlier today, including the defending champion, Denny Hamlin, who is anxious to get back here at Daytona and defend his 500 title from a year ago. And here's what Denny had to say about coming back to Daytona.
I think it's been good because as your competition would probably tell you that they're going to follow cars and drivers that they know that are safe and ones that they know are successful at this, especially the inexperienced ones, because they know that you know how to get to the front, so they're more likely to follow you, which is more likely to make you perform better. So it's easy to get friends when you're fast and you're good. It's when you get caught up in a lot of wrecks that people become hesitant to do that. So we've been very fortunate over the last 6 to 8 years, have amazing success in this race, and we hope to continue that this weekend. And I really don't see anything that would make that change.
And when you're fast, you have friends.
Yep.
Here's a guy with some friends.
Because he's good and he's fast.
Yes,
and he's been over the years.
absolutely.
Jimmie Johnson, 7-time champion.
This is unbelievable. You have angels you can play. Do we have this?
I have a big just standing ovation. There we go.
There we go. Thank you very much. Royalty is in the house.
All right, Jimmie Johnson, you are approaching your last full-time season in the NASCAR Cup Series. What was it like pulling into the garage area knowing that this could possibly be your final Daytona 500? What were the thoughts and feelings that you had this morning?
I'm just excited. Honestly, I've had nothing but optimism and excitement, especially since I announced, I guess, last fall, and just ready to go. I really am ready to go. My family, my team, we just have such a neat energy around us right now and excitement to have this final year and to do it right on a lot of levels. So let's go.
Do you think the fact that, I came to grips with what I wanted to do. I'm going to do it on my terms, and now we've scheduled it, that maybe there's a peace of mind that's going to let you enjoy this a little bit more than maybe you normally would have years ago?
I really do. And I think I would add to that, I'm not fried. I'm not, the grind hasn't gotten to me, and I still have a deep passion to race, just not 38 weekends a year. So, but I know I can fully commit to this year and do it at the level that I need to and want to, and there's something exciting in that. So, I'll still race. I can't turn that off. At least cold turkey at some point. Sure, I won't compete, but I'm just in a great spot with it.
You've been very, very active away from the track, competing in marathons, competing in triathlons. How does that aspect of your life carry over and help you as a race car driver on Sundays?
They're so similar. Sure, you're powering yourself in different means, but the commitment, the work ethic, the dedication, all of that plays, and then nutrition and hydration really does cross over between the disciplines. And the one thing that I've really enjoyed through it is the mental clarity, how good my body feels, and how well my senses feel of the car when I'm in top shape. And that's something that's what's made this last for so long, is that those feelings really do correlate to the car.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. Your senses and have a feel for the car. I remember last year's race, I remember your car coming by in the end, as Daytona always is, and I thought, his guy's car looks like a dune buggy at this point.
There wasn't much left of it.
But you know what? The team kept it on the track. You kept it going straight. And what do you remember about that finish? Because there were a lot of guys who were hanging around. You were one of them that ended up with very good finishes because of that ability to just get it to the line.
It's funny because I knew my car was messed up, but it still had decent speed and I had a decent finish. And then I got out, and while the race was still going on, I'm like, it must not be that bad. And then I got out, and I was like, oh my gosh, this thing's horrible. So just a good day.
Since you made your announcement, what's been the best piece of advice you have gotten from a former driver, whether it's Jeff Gordon or Dale Earnhardt Jr.? What's the best piece of advice that you have received approaching your last full-time season?
It's hard to say one thing, but what's really interesting, the names you've mentioned, I've seen a lot of people, talked to a lot of people. They're congratulating me and happy for me and all that stuff. But I don't know if it's that I want to listen more to Jeff, Tony, and Dale, or if what they say is more powerful than others. But there is a strong connection there that I'd love to hear what they have to say. Jeff's been fantastic with a lot of advice. Dale will drop me. It was really interesting after the production day we had last week, maybe 2 weeks ago now, in Charlotte. The first text I had as I was walking out of the building was, "That's your last production day," and some other funny things that went with it. So, they're respect them and so appreciate them, and I'm certainly have an open ear to what they have to say this year.
All right, well, Jimmy, JB's got a question for you.
We got an off-road question.
Off-roading
right.
because
Awesome.
we know back in the day, SoCal off-roading days, man.
We're gonna give you celebrity shotgun, Jimmy. If you had to do a race with any celebrity riding shotgun next to you, that was the NASCAR rule, that you had to have a celebrity next to you. Let's say for ratings. Let's just say for ratings for fun, right?
Yeah, why not?
What celebrity would you pick?
Well, I have a few friends that would qualify for the celebrity piece of this, and they're going to be really upset that I don't pick them.
Oh, no. we this poor guy.
But recently was with my friend Glenn Powell, and Glenn wants to race in the Baja 1000. And he's literally in Sweden driving a rally car right now, and keeps texting me that, man, we've got to figure this Baja thing out. We got to race together. We got to race together. So it just kind of fits perfectly, and I'd pick Glenn.
You've watched the Baja before?
I've raced in it.
He's been in it.
Oh,
yeah.
God, those guys, you're nuts. Those guys are nuts. You guys are
I
crazy.
can't believe my parents let me do that. I was a teenager when I started doing it.
Did you watch video of yourself going over there and you're like, man, I can't believe I did that?
It was so stupid. I mean, you don't know where you're going, and you're just flying off of
overnight.
Things, all night long. Yeah, it's quite an adventure. It's not really a race; it's an adventure.
Really quick, your girls. Would you be okay if they got into racing or not?
I would, without a doubt.
Okay.
Yep.
That's awesome.
I would support it 100%.
That's
awesome.
good stuff. Jimmy Johnson, this has been fun. It's an honor. We
Appreciate
had you
it.
last year on the show, and again, I think we gave him some karma with the car, getting that car across the line. So I can tell you this: I don't want to be in front of you near the end of the race this year, because I know,
through.
Yeah, you're
that's
coming
right.
through. Hey, buddy, this is my last one. Get out.
Yeah.
So
Thank
we
you,
wish
guys.
you all the
I
best
appreciate
this
it.
weekend.
Thank you.
Jimmy, thank you.
Yep.
Good
Jimmy
luck, man.
Johnson, future Hall of Famer.
Oh, first ballot Hall
First
of Famer.
ballot.
Might even
First
be
ballot.
100%.
Will there be somebody like that guy who didn't vote for Derek Jeter?
There can't be.
That
there
would want
cannot
Jimmy
be.
Johnson to
no,
not get it?
No. He's not only going in the Hall of Fame in his first ballot, he's 100%. Hands down.
Oh, man,
no
there
doubt
he is.
about it.
Everybody, there's Brad Keslowski there.
And Brad's going to join us
We're talking
here in
series,
just a second.
This series champion to series champion right here. And that conversation, there's a lot of
experience
a lot of
right
wins and a lot of miles in there.
Yeah.
And Brad Keslowski. This show, by the way, is going to take a turn.
And he is our next guest.
Right
yes.
now.
He is our next guest.
That's awesome.
This is part of his calculated strategy,
Right.
Kevin. You watch.
He's going to slide
He knows
in.
exactly what he's doing. He's got the coffee. He says, I'm going to talk to Jimmy. I'm going to make him wait. And they're going to ask me what I was talking to Jimmy about.
Well, Brad was waiting for us, so now this is his revenge. Now,
This is the revenge of
we
Brad
have to wait for
Keselowski.
Brad Keselowski.
Well, the thing about Brad, he had such a fast car in the Busch Clash the other day.
He did.
He was pretty upset when his car got taken out in the
Yeah,
wreck.
well,
so
he
we're
was up-
definitely going to ask him about that.
He was up on the high side there. It was an unfortunate spot. And oh, no.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, no. It's already, the show's already.
Brad Keselowski joining us. And
By the way,
have I ruined your show, gentlemen?
We started the show, Brad. We started out, we had rules. Then we kind of crossed the line a little bit.
Oh,
and they said, Brad's coming. I go, forget it. The rules are done.
We're off the rails
The
now.
rules are done.
Everybody, the one, the only, Brad Keselowski.
Yeah, what are the
we
rules?
have applause this year, Brad. We've upped our game a little bit.
All right, first question. I know a lot of people saw you beating on the side of an ambulance the other day.
Yeah, but you never told me the rules. I got to know the rules before I play the game.
Let it
Rule
let it go.
What
Let
did
it
you
go.
have against that paramedic in the ambulance? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, you know, I've never liked ambulances. So there's some
I knew it.
built up hostility from youth. You know, like Rage Against the Machine here a little bit going on. But
all right, so seriously, have you calmed down from that incident? I mean, I know it's been a few days, but
well, I mean, I
know
don't
it's-
like losing, if that's what you're asking.
No, I'm not asking that.
Am I as mad as I was in the moments directly after? No. Am I happy? No. I want to win races. When you got a chance to win races and you don't, yeah, I'm not going to be happy. So.
Have you talked to Jimmy or Joey about it? I mean, have
Yeah,
you had a
we've
good
had
conversation?
our conversations, but those are between him and I.
Gotcha.
When you watch, do you go back and watch those at all? Not just
Oh, yeah.
to see. I mean, but
Yep.
maybe listen, out here, anything can happen at any time. And sometimes it's mechanical. Sometimes it's a calculated risk that went wrong. But when you watch that, do you say, all right, maybe I need to be here next time, or, or try to set myself up to
absolutely.
avoid?
You know, if you're not studying, this is all situational awareness, and you want to make moments in the blink of an eye, and you need to be prepared to do that.
Some big changes at Penske Racing where they had a driver crew chief shuffle.
Yep.
How involved were you in that particular decision making? I mean, you've had such great success with Paul Wolfe. Were you involved, intimately in making that decision?
Yeah, I would say it was a little bit like, going to the buffet and saying, well, I kind of like everything here at the buffet, and you all pick out which one you want to do. And, I didn't know which one was going to get picked, and that one got picked. So,
Gotcha.
Chicken, steak, mac and cheese.
I like it.
Let's do something. I'm hungry.
That could be a good segue into our.
You know what? Let's off-road this guy. Go ahead.
We're gonna off-road this interview with a question here for Brad Keslowski. Man, a lot of. I love Brad's my dude.
JB, by the way, JB, we got him a title this year, DJ. Look at this.
Oh yeah, that's right. I know, right?
Crazy, man. He's got
one hand going.
Yeah, a little Euro flavor.
Let's throw you up on camera here. You're under caution, and you can have any meal in the world delivered to you that you could eat, and you're just waiting for caution to end. What are you eating? What's your meal?
Peanut butter jelly.
Yes, sir.
PB&J.
That's an easy one.
Yeah.
It's not even close.
Not even close. No. Not even a tier. Nothing.
No.
Like
PB&J. Here's the thing about PB&J. You got a little bit of bread. It's a little bit of carbs. Get you some energy. Peanut butter as well.
Protein.
A little bit. Protein. Thank you. You know your food. And then jelly for that little bit of sugar kick, and it also offsets the palate in your mouth. So there you go.
PB&J.
A little grape.
I'm a strawberry guy, but it's okay. I'm not a hater. If you like grape jelly, go ahead and be a grape jelly guy.
Let's stay off-roading, okay?
Oh, you want to stay off-roading?
I don't want to get back on the track
No,
at this
let's
point.
stay off-roading.
No.
Right.
Which one you want next?
You can have a celebrity ride shotgun with you during a race. What celebrity would you like to have riding shotgun with you?
I think Matthew McConaughey.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell us why.
At Daytona as the Grand Marshal, but I think he's the kind of guy that would keep you calm down. He'd be like, "Whoa, cool."
That Texas accent.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like he could pump me up when I need to be pumped up, and I think he could calm me down when I need to be calmed down.
He would drop one of his movie lines. You know how they always give him the lines that are kind of offbeat and out there.
Yeah.
Like I could see you going into turn 3, and you're like, "What do we got?" And he'd say, "I don't know, but the track's coming around the turn, baby. Go around the turn." And you're like, "Well, you told me nothing, but it was great."
Yes. It was a very calming voice.
Yes, it was very good. I love Matthew.
And then how about lastly, we'll end out on this.
You gotta lean forward. Take a look at that.
Take a look here, Brad, on the monitor.
Yep.
Do you have a favorite movie or TV show racer character?
Oh, Cole Trickle.
Wow,
Second answer.
Wow, another Cole Trickle.
Yeah, they're very good.
Who else did not answer Cole Trickle?
No. I think we had a lot of Cole Trickles today.
Yeah, you're right.
I like Cole Trickle.
Exactly right.
At the end, he gets the girl.
We had Kenny Rogers' character in Six Pack. What was this Kenny?
Stroker Ace character.
Stroker Ace.
Stroker Ace. Yeah. I don't want to wear the chicken suit. So
exactly. All right. Well, go get yourself a PB&J, man.
Thanks, guys.
Brad, this has been great.
Man.
We wish you the best of luck this weekend.
DJ, keep it up.
Yeah, man.
It's not JB, and it was DJ.
I am. I'm like the DJ over here, you guys. Everybody, Brad Keslowski, the one, the only. And Countdown to Daytona. We're here live at Media Day. My goodness. I've lost count of how many.
Next year, we're going to have Brad host it.
Yeah, that would be.
Host the show, do the interview.
What's the pay? What's the pay?
We're still trying to find the answer to that question.
What's the pay is the question from Brad Keslowski. Let's work on that. If the bosses are listening, let's crunch a few numbers, man. This guy could host a telethon.
Yeah, Media Day is a very interesting day here in Daytona because you can kind of go any direction you want to go, and Brad Keslowski's such a great sport. He'll go with it, too.
The one thing I'm sensing from all of these guys, and we've talked to a lot of drivers, not just today but all day, is the excitement. And some of them, they like the Media Day thing. Some of them, they come, they have to do it. But they get in the mood when they're in here. This gets the juices going.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, the fact that the NASCAR starts the season with the Daytona 500, it is truly its biggest race. So, they know how important this is. And the Media Day only helps to add to the excitement, helps add to the anticipation, not only here in Daytona, but throughout the country.
I did. And the other thing, if you've been watching this, thank you very much for watching. This has been great stuff today. they all say the same thing, and they use the word luck, but there's you create luck by just running smart here. And I mentioned to Jimmie Johnson that your car was in shreds last year. The team kept you out there, but Jimmie Johnson knows what he's doing on this track, and there's things that happen on that back straight when you're getting ready for turn 3 where he knows that he can, put himself in a position to get around one more time where someone else may not.
Yeah, that's right. And on the screen now is the trophy. That's what everybody's after. That's
Harley
what they want.
J. Earl trophy.
Yeah,
if you've never seen the thing in person, it is enormous. It is very big. It's like, what would you say, about 3 Stanley Cups? That big, two Stanley Cups at least.
Easily 2 Stanley Cups in terms of width. It's got a little bit ways to go for the height of the Stanley Cup.
And then they give them
certainly just as important.
They give them a little mini Harley J. Earl to put in the shop back home. So that's what they're going for. And this is one of the most prestigious trophies in all of sports. It's one of the most recognizable for sure. Car on the top. A little nod back to the days of the beach.
That's right.
And this is before they raced on the beach. This is back when they did the try to get land speed records on the beach out there. And a lot of the guys coming in from Europe in cars like this. So I think it's one of the great traditions in all of sports there. The hair doesn't come with it, though. The hair's not part of the trophy.
The interesting thing about the drivers that have mentioned luck, the true definition of luck is when opportunity and preparation meet. That's the definition of luck. I had a longtime friend and mentor, and he says people who are lucky are usually the ones that work really hard to prepare for that opportunity. And when the opportunity arises, they take advantage of it.
Absolutely.
And a lot of these drivers certainly have done that.
And getting to the finish line, right? And I know that we spoke to some drivers in our morning session here, including Joey Logano, Austin Dillon, some others. Take a listen here to – again, you got to finish the Daytona 500 to win it, right?
Finishing would be obviously the biggest challenge, I think, after watching what the Clash was about. But the draft of just the way this place works, the strategy of the way this place works, it's just, and understanding teamwork and, with your manufacturers, working with people you don't typically work with. There's just so many aspects of speedway racing that come together. It's tough. It's a chess match. Physically, it's not a very demanding race. Mentally, it's the most demanding race we go to.
Toughest part about Daytona, not messing up. I mean, it's a long race, a lot of opportunities to do some dumb stuff, and try not to do it early. Keep yourself in the mix throughout the whole race. It's the first one of the year. Well, you kind of feel like you got the rest of the year to recover, but it really is good to come out of here with a good start for the points. It's a big race for us. I mean, it's a big paying race. It's just everything starts our year off strong if you have a good run here. I feel like it really can kickstart your year, the momentum, the excitement. So you don't ever feel like you've started bad if you have a good race here.
Yeah, I mean, you got a lot of damage, but you don't really know what it looks like from the seat. So when you got to see it for the first time, when I got to see it for the first time, it's like, man, you kind of wonder how it was still that fast, as much work as we put into trying to make our super speedway cars, fast and slippery through the air. You look at that, it looks like it's got a kind of a snowplow on the front. So it was pretty funny. I mean, a lot of laughs were had that day. I know I was laughing in the car at a few points when we were going to have a shot to win. So pretty wild, that's for sure. Yeah, it feels good. I mean, anytime you can start off with a win on the season feels great, and it gives you some confidence and some momentum building into the 500. So excited to get going, excited for the duels tomorrow night, and then really excited obviously for Sunday. So a lot of different race, different car, different field, more cars in general. So different in general, but definitely the momentum feels good.
All right, that was Erik Jones, and what he was referring to, I didn't know what it looked like till I climbed out. If you saw the end of the Clash race, I was calling it the crash, not the clash.
There's a lot of wrecks.
And here comes this, line of Denny Hamlin pushing Erik Jones, 2 teammates, and both cars looks like MacGyver came in with his tape and just ran it around the cars, and the hood on Erik Jones's car was going.
Yeah.
And I thought, this hood's going back somewhere. He got him across the line for the win,
right.
and it goes along the lines of what Jimmie was talking about his car as well. In last year's 500, when he climbed out of the car, he goes, wow, how in the world did we get to the line?
Yeah, without a doubt. The funny thing on social media this week, Eric Jones put out a picture of his car and his team in victory lane. And there was also a picture of Terry Labonte's car and his team from a race that Terry Labonte won in his Hall of Fame career at the Bristol Motor Speedway, where Labonte's car was all smashed up in the front after an accident with Dale Earnhardt Sr., and it looked very similar.
That's great.
And the fact that winning is important to these guys, and no matter what the car looks like, winning is a big deal.
And we're going to say goodbye here in a minute, but I want to tell a quick story. If you ever get to come down to Daytona International Speedway and go into the International Racing Hall of Fame here, they put the Daytona 500 winning car in there for the year, and it's there. You can take pictures by it and all that great stuff. But I'm always amazed at what the cars look like. And I'll go back to Kurt Busch. We talked about the grass on the hood. But if you went down one side of his car, it looked like he had 5 or 6 complete wheels.
Big donuts.
Bored into the car. It shows you how tight everything was and the fact that he kept that thing going. And then you have Denny Hamlin's car last year. It looked like he just pulled it out of the shop.
Right.
I thought, where's the oil? Where's the dents?
That is one of the great traditions here at Daytona. The car goes from victory lane to inspection straight to the Hall of Fame museum there.
That's awesome.
And fans get to enjoy that car for a whole year.
Well, Kevin, this has been fun.
Yeah, very
enjoyable.
enjoyable.
Good stuff. Jimmie Johnson, I'm going to take away that chat with Jimmie Johnson. I'm going to remember that forever.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun today. Our viewers having fun on social media. I was just checking out some of the replies to some of our countdown to Daytona hashtags on Twitter, and I think Nick Perry, the Nick Perry 79 on Twitter, summed it up best by just saying, "Let's go, let's go for race day." So we're getting closer to Sunday, you guys. It's really, really exciting.
Keep it simple, but that says so much.
Let's go.
We'll be back again tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock.
Tomorrow, 1 o'clock, talking Daytona 500, and then we're going to have guests all throughout the week. So make sure you check that out here. Same site that you're on right now. This has been a lot of fun. For Kevin Connolly, JB Buno, I am Dan Lucas. We really appreciate your time today. Daytona 500 Media Day on Countdown to Daytona. Have a great afternoon, everybody.